Hello friends, in this video we are going to be discussing about java.lang out of memory error, kill process or sacrifice child. Yeah, this name sounds very harsh and it is harsh. Right? Okay. So friends, as we discussed in the earlier video, there are 9 different types of out of memory error. Here the 8th type of out of memory error is kill process or sacrifice child. Friends, sometimes what will happen is this error is quite different from other types of out of memory error. Why it is different is sometimes kernel can kill your application, can kill your JVM. In all other cases, the JVM itself would kill itself with that error. Whereas here, the kernel is going to kill the JVM because when there is a RAM capacity scarcity, when there is a scarcity in the RAM, what's going to happen is the kernel will start to kill the process. And if that turns out to be our application, then we are going to see this kill process or sacrifice child. For our discussion, I'm going to be picking up a real problem that happened in a real enterprise, right? Let's look at it. And this problem happened in an EBS service in AWS. EBS stands for Elastic Beanstalk. So this is a kind of a containerization service which is available in AWS cloud. What happened was this application, which was running in this EBS stack, it started to throw intermittent 502 errors. So let's try to understand how does this EBS architecture looks like. It is a very typical containerization architecture, right? Look at this at the very forefront that we do have an elastic load balancer, which is going to distribute the traffic to the EC2 instances, right? Within each EC2 instance, we have an Nginx server, which is a web server, which sends the traffic to the Apache Tomcat, an application server behind it, right? It's a very typical containerization architecture, nothing fancy about it. So this application started to throw intermittently the 502 bad gateway error, right? The Nginx was throwing. The Nginx would throw this error, 502 error. Say Nginx got the request and now it's sent to the Tomcat. And if Tomcat didn't respond within a stipulated time period, then the 502 error is going to be thrown back to the customer. Right? This is what was happening. Friends, when these type of error happen, these are pretty tricky ones to troubleshoot. So what data we need to look at it? Right? Friends, I would recommend using this open source script, which is available in GitHub. It's called as a YC data script, right? It's available in GitHub. The link for that will be given in the description. You can trigger this script just like this. You can say the YC script and then give the process ID of your application, which is suffering from error. When you trigger it, this script is going to capture a 360-degree data from your application. Because when you are the performance problem, it can happen because of any reason. It could happen because of garbage collection process. It could happen because of threads are getting blocked. It could happen because of memory leak. There is a network latency, right? So when you capture a 360-degree data, we can troubleshoot the problem more effectively. And when we have this kind of kill process or sacrifice the child, we want to take a kernel logs because the kernel is the one which is killing the Java process. So it's logged in the kernel logs. So how do we get the kernel log? We can get the kernel log by issuing this dmessage command. When you issue this dmessage command, you are going to get your kernel logs, right? But however, the script captures 360-degree data, so it comes with the kernel logs. So once when we trigger it, we get the log. What it's going to do is this 360-degree data is going to be bundled up for you, and then it's going to be a zip file is created. You can there are tools available which can you can upload this to a yCrash tool to look at the bundle. You can analyze this entire bundle file and then give you the root cause, or you can take the bundle file, unzip it, and look at it by yourself. So in this case, in this AWS EBS stack environment, if you look in the kernel log, so this is what the analysis report showed in the yCrash, but you can very well open up in the text editor and look at it. The kernel log, here you can see it's printed. Out of memory error, kill the process or sacrifice the child. This is the process ID. So in the kernel logs, it gets printed. So what was happening in this case was, since the RAM capacity there was not sufficient RAM capacity, the JVM was growing, right? We set the XMS and the initial heap size and the maximum heap size, right? So when the Java process memory was starting to grow, the kernel didn't have sufficient capacity to allocate to the Java process, so it killed it. When it killed, you saw this. So let's go back to this architecture. So here, the Nginx got the request, it sent to the Tomcat server. While it is processing, the kernel killed the process. Since it got killed, the Nginx didn't get response, it was throwing 502 error. But why it is intermittent? That means if it got killed, shouldn't that always I should be getting 502 error? Why it is intermittently we are getting 502 errors? This is where the containerization self-healing kicks in, right? What happened was the kernel was killing the Tomcat process. But however, the EBS stack, the containerization, the self-healing mechanism, it saw, the Java process is down. So it was restarting. So the kernel was killing, the containerization orchestrator, it was restarting. So the application was going up, down, up, down, up, down. Whenever it was down, whenever request came at the time, it was getting the 502 errors. Okay. So now let's take a step back and let's recap this. When do we get this? What are the causes for this out of memory error, kill process or sacrifice child? This happens when there is a lack of RAM capacity, right? Or other reason could be maybe there is a high memory utilization. Maybe there are so many processes are running on the device and there's not sufficient RAM. Or there could be very well there is a leak in the application and your process keeps growing. Right? These are three potential causes. What are the solutions to this? Solution to that is maybe you want to free up the RAM capacity. Maybe so you want to kill the unnecessary processes that is running on the device. Or try to allocate more RAM, upgrade your EC2 instance size. Or if it's happening because of a memory leak, we want to go ahead and fix the memory leak. For that, you want to watch our first video, java.lang.OutOfMemoryError, Java heap space. What are the approach we took to identify the memory leak in the code? We want to use that. So what are the artifacts that we need to troubleshoot it? So we want to use a D message to see to confirm whether it is happening because of the kernel killing it. And if it's because of the leak in the code, then we want to use a GC log and heap dump to troubleshoot it. And what are the tools that you want to use for troubleshooting? So here, if it's a memory leak, you want to take a heap dump and analysis. To do the analysis, you want to use a heap dump analysis tools like EPRO or Eclipse Mat. Or you can use this yCrash, which takes the entire 360-degree file and then analyzes and get to the root cause. Right? Okay. Thank you, friends.